everyone, and welcome back to part 4 of the 2001 EVA Pod build. Today we're going to work on putting down some decals and working on some of the backlit displays, getting them installed. So let's head over to the bench. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back. Worked on a lot of button decals, so all these buttons are now done. It's going to be hard to see on camera, so I'm not even going to try. We can kind of get a little, the yellows, you might be able to see it more, but I doubt it. You might see them on the, like, especially the cluster of 4 there by the greens. But, and you can see them on the blues. You can see the white lighting. And then I put the red decals from the kit down in there because and cut it off the actual decal sheet because the plastic already, if we lift this off carefully, the plastic already is recessed because they wanted the decal to sit on the plastic and they wanted that light to look sunk in, but they want you to put, you're supposed to put the decal now on the photo etch. So you got the thickness of this photo etch plus the recess there for that decal to kind of sink down in. I'm just like, nah, that's asking. Even though these decals, well, yeah, they're actually working pretty good. I did 2 of these panels, and they're working pretty good. I thought this one would have been the worst one, but now that I know it, I got to make sure there's a lot of water on the photo etch. So you and get it's placed almost as correctly as possible, square, because it's hard to get, you know, all these in there, you know. And then I realized that from the back side of the photo etch, you don't want to see any white lines, or very faint one maybe on one edge, because sometimes you're just not going to get it perfect, whether they're not perfect but they're really close. They did a great job with the photo etch getting them almost, I mean, it's right on. But yeah, to ask that decal to go through, you know, the thickness of this photo etch plus the recess there, I just thought it would look, you know, too wrinkly. So I just cut that out of the decal. Carefully cut that out and put it down there. And then I can hit it with the, I'm going to gloss these buttons. I think that's how I wanted it to look, glossy. I figured I'd show you putting one of these decals on. I just put one on, but it's one of these that has this little edge over. Not paying attention that the decal is made to go on the plastic, which they give you the whole decal for this edge. There is a little label there, so I kind of just put it on here and then just trimmed that black edge off and then trimmed the label out and then stuck it on the painted part of this, and then I just gave it a clear. And there it is with the label on. I had to measure about where it would sit. So, let's get this soaking. Could have done that earlier while I was talking. But these are coming off the... These are softening up pretty quick. Got it in soapy water.
This is...
I cannot wake up today.
2 legs in the front, 1 leg in the back.
Surgery, yeah, just has me tired. They kind of, you know, kind of medicine head. I mean, not really on any pain, you know, they had ibuprofen and stuff, but still, just any of that medicine just makes you just feel like, tired. Like, I remember, it hasn't even been a week since my surgery.
Or there are 2 inscribed circles here on the bottom, which means that this is meant to be.
Let's just hope that if it was a tumor, that they got it all.
And the photos of the finished model,
I'm sure they did, because nothing but good luck at the hospital. But anyway, alright, now while that's doing that, because it should be about ready to come off already, I think.
I don't like that, so do I place it here?
Sometimes I put this on a towel,
Or
But I want it
do
to stay quite
keep
wet,
with the
so
symmetry
and flat.
and do this so that both of those circles are in the back
The
here.
key is to try to
And
get it
there's no circle up front,
right where it's supposed to be,
but you have the two
like line 2 points up as much as you can.
shoulders, so to speak, in front of him.
Probably
I
doesn't
think
even
that's
hurt
the way
though.
I'm gonna do it.
You know,
I'm
I
gonna
even
do it
get a
this
little
way.
more water on.
And that also puts the orientation of the two feely things the right way. You can either go with this in the front, because the two feely things, the big antennae, these guys
Do that.
are
You're gonna have
the next thing I'm
less
gonna work on. They need to be
trouble.
soaked in boiling hot water so that you can coil them up and make them.
Alright, it looks like we're gonna have trouble
Mechanical
right here.
tentacles. Say that first thing in the morning. Tentacles. Metallic
That's it.
tentacles.
Yeah, thank God it had to go that way.
Across. So they can go across with that in the front, or they can go across.
It
with
looks
that
like
in the back.
this
So
has
I
gotta
think all this is
come
pointing you in the
back.
direction of
But it's the back of the, looking at it from the back is where,
the gun sticking down
get-
and the two tentacles going that way. That's the way I'm going to do it. Thank you for listening. Okay, it's time to have some fun with boiling
that's where it
water.
tells you which way it's gotta go.
These are the things
And I'm thinking it's gotta go that way.
You really have to worry about.
And since
They
it's
come
photo
in
etch,
straight,
so, and I
but
got a
you're
lot
meant
of
to
extra.
Get them all coiled up like this. So I'm just going to go heat up some
Yep.
water. Give
It
them a
all
good
has to go
soak.
this way, so it's kinda
Maybe
like you
from
wanna
like
pull
this point down.
here, and then you
I
inch
don't wanna
everything.
mess with this stuff up here because that's where it
Back.
goes into the body. But
Yeah, I'm not getting
we're
any
gonna see what kind
movement.
of fun we can have with these. So I've got the tentacles rescued from the boiling water.
It's not from
Looked like
there.
a bit of pasta for a while there, but I pulled them
You
out,
need water.
coiled them up.
I've even submerged the whole photo etch and all in there.
I had them both coiled the same way because, I was just thinking that way. And then I realized, no, it probably needs to be mirrored.
You almost
It
have
needs
to
be coiled
soak it.
the other way, so
It's gotta be
I
dripping.
re-boiled it. And so
Messy,
this
yeah.
one here's a twice boiled tentacle. So I re-boiled it
Try to
and
think of a way to
straightened
get
it back
water
out
in there.
and twisted it the other
I'll
way
have
so
to
that
see
it
you with
wasn't
a brush
identical
and
to
lift
that
the
one anymore.
decal up and get water to run behind
Yeah,
it.
not perfectly symmetrical, but they'll do. And this is what it'll look like with
You
the
need to
head
move.
attached. Not quite ready to attach the head, so what I'm going to do is spray up the body, put
all this can
some
move.
little primer on that,
It's
get
just
it
not
ready to
wanting to do
go,
it.
and then do the same with the head, and then join them together.
Such a
Like
simple
it
little
with the
move,
top coat.
and it's
I'm
just gonna fight
deciding,
me
whether or not to give the top coat. Well, if
because
I
it wants to
waited-
stick
no,
so
I
well
would
to the
top coat
photo etch. We're
everything
getting some movement.
at the same time. That
Right
way
here.
I'm not messing.
You're gonna have to
with
actually
the
probably
top
lift the
coat.
photo etch.
I'm gonna say top coat one more time. When time comes to put the head on, I don't want to mess up the top coat, so I'll have all of my construction.
And you don't
done.
want to stretch
The only thing
anything
that will
either.
be
So
remaining will be these two little antenna. Those
if you can lift up and get some more water
rounded antenna
in
here, and one
can help
straight
you
up antenna
massively.
that goes.
We're
back
actually gonna
here.
have to
I can
lift
put
and give
these
a tug.
down after everything has been painted, but that's what she looks like. Now, I wasn't planning on this thing.
You gotta be careful because
I
a
knew
tug
it was a simple
can
deal.
give a tug in
So,
more than one
I
direction.
can have this primed and ready to go while I'm working on the new.
Like that
but this
crease
will be
there.
The black visor that will go.
Is because
over
we
the
shifted
windows.
not only
That
we
would
probably
be
did
my,
a back and forth.
break from all
What are you
of the
saying this
metallic,
way?
and this is just going to be a basic silver metallic finish. No big special deal on that. Okay, I've got both the Metaluna Mutant and the Plastics Illustrated Martian War Machine in various stages of primer. So right now,
Yeah,
I
it
can
just
turn my
doesn't.
attention
There we
to
go. Like,
drilling
sometimes
a
with
hole in the bottom of this spaceship so that I can
a razor
put it on
blade,
the
get
base.
it
That is
kind of the way you want
the
it.
only thing that's really keeping me from finishing this. I also
See, that's much better.
Zagon bomber and
Still
put it on
have
some sort of
something going on
base
here
as
that
well. I
needs
may even
to be
use
resolved.
the
I can even see
base
that.
for that. Although I probably shouldn't because the Zagons would not probably be using the same logo or the same artwork.
You gotta be
as
careful with the thing because you put little pricks in it trying to
so maybe I'll
move it.
save it for that. So, to me, it's right about there. So So if I do
Let's
that,
check what the back says. I think this is about as good as we're gonna
that's
get.
what I thought it was. So the center,
Now it's time to try to
the,
wet and get rid of wrinkles.
So what I need to do is drill a hole in
It's
it.
like you gotta
And
soak.
Then once I determine
Careful.
how deep that hole is going to be
everything's
and how
got
far it sits
lines.
in the base, then it'll be a matter of cutting
See if
this
we
off.
can get rid of
So
these wrinkles.
can't think of about the right height by the time you put old ball sack head next to him. That's gonna be a good companion piece.
Really?
On the Zagon bomber, I was hoping I could find a nice clear rod. Didn't have rod out tubing though, but it's this the Zagon bomber is light enough that I can.
It's funny because I've had some going so well and some that just don't. Like that one green one went on like amazingly well.
The ballerina ship, so I just need to cut it off about.
It's like I almost want to just lift it off because there's so many little
Keep that out on camera. It looks like this.
areas that I just don't like.
So that it's gives a nice.
We'll get it there. It's just
With a pad.
it shouldn't take this long.
And so I think we've got a final stance.
I need a bigger bowl.
Like the head is not glued down yet.
Just for sure
I think,
too.
I think I'm liking how that's going to look. I'm going to let that set up. Again, the shoulder joint, make those a different color, and then the main heat ray will be.
But we might lose that white stripe there.
But I might.
But no
just
matter
do
what,
some
I
black
cannot
scorching
get that
on
over.
the legs to differentiate the different
Correct.
leg segments, the pistons. So that's going to
Needs to
dry
be.
overnight.
So it's gonna be is what it is, you know.
Well,
look how far fast that went. So that's working pretty good for me.
Over these, I'll bend the arms in such a way so that
95% of it is perfect.
And I can
It's
hit
just,
them with
you know,
camera,
it could be how they,
and
you
we'll
know,
be ready
made
to
the
put
decal.
this together in the
Might
morning.
be
I
off,
think,
so no matter what, I can't get
think
those
I
aligned.
can- You know, I probably should just glue the torso together before I hit it with the primer. Since that toxin
We get
stuff
very
is
little
set
wrinkles.
up, that's
Right
it's
there's the
giving
bad
me a
spot.
much cleaner joint there. So let me glue that together. And then that just leaves this disgusting bit to go on the back.
You're just, now that we fixed your base, now you're just being stubborn everywhere else, lamp.
But yeah, let me touch a couple things and then hit the
Because I
rest
know
of
you
the
can
primer.
sit back now.
Good morning, welcome back. It is Wednesday. It's day 3 of the.
I think you get used to it, the light you get when
And
you're
I
real
am
close. And
doing
then
what I like to do the best, and that is making paint
When you move
messes.
far away,
And
your
I'm
eyes
doing
have
the
to
messy
readjust.
ones so that I can paint the.
make sure we got all the air bubbles out, which
the
should look
elbow
really
joints, or
good.
The joints that go up to the, I guess those would be shoulder joints. And it's a simple matter
Yeah,
of
I'm
cutting
happy
some
with that.
circles with some circles
the best
in
you
the
can
middle
do.
So that I can mask that circular area. The other thing I'm doing is
It's kind of
making
really good
black
except for that
lines.
one there, and I cannot get it to shift.
Scrap of vinyl. I've cut this piece of
I lifted it up, but all the rest look really
And the
good.
reason I'm
But
doing
most of that edge is
because
black
this
anyway. It's
area
just
here
these,
is way
those little
uneven.
white
And
stripes
it's
that go
moving
down that
means
single bar.
You are,
I think we're
you
gonna
are
lose
supposed
some
to
of
cover
that
with something. So
when
what
the
I've done
buttons
is I've
go
cut
through.
a piece of sheet
But that works for me.
It's the same size. I'm going to cover that with some black vinyl or just some static electricity.
All right, what's our next victim?
Being very careful. not
Let's do an
to,
easy one, or should be an easy one.
being very
I
careful
think
not
that
to
would be
kick
this
up the dust is what I'm
Should be.
trying to say.
I don't think it's going to be an actual easy one, but it should be.
That's dried by now. Let me take the other side of the Q-tip and just make sure.
At least easy in the matter that it doesn't have these little tiny bars. That's why I thought the other one of these was going to be a bastard, and it went on like butter.
And that soapy water solution will let you slide the vinyl around.
And this one's going to have a lot of little ones.
From underneath.
This one won't be too bad.
The liquid helps.
Just those two are probably going to be the next, harder. But let's stop yapping and start gapping.
But so we'll move all of this back because the glass
Ain't
here
nothing to it
is
but to do it.
and I'm going to peel off.
It's going to be a pain in the butt. It's going to be a pain in the butt now, or it's going to be a pain in the butt 10 minutes later. Don't matter.
Okay, and we are going to
Keep
wind
moving.
it down like that. Probably
Let's get this. Let's see if we can get this
spray
more.
color and then just
Maybe I
glue
should make
it
this
inside
water
here.
more soapy.
I think that would give it a nice finish.
I mean, I feel my fingers
Let's
slipping.
do that. I can, that's,
I don't know how much
everything else
the
is
decals
out
are
here.
slipping.
So,
It's like I want it as wet as
Yeah,
possible
the
in
hand-
here.
the hand
I'd rather
thing.
squeeze all that water out, which is very easy
around this edge.
to do
Oh, yeah,
on
just
photo etch.
spraying on some accent color, and that is the
See, the
metallic
soapiness
color,
allows
metal
the
color
water to
jet
s-
exhaust. Something that
Soapy
would
water
give
allows the water to
contrast the,
stay
the brighter
instead of
silver.
creeping back
Let me take some
away
of
from
these
like
bags
edges
off
and stuff.
see,
I mean,
how
it's
it
doing it,
comes
but not
out.
as bad as
See
it would
whether
normally
might be
do.
gonna need to do some touching up.
Soak this sucker again so it's dripping. Alright. I'm thinking the best way to go is this way. Go big, too. I think that's key.
Yeah, we got some more
Don't put it right at the edge, go big.
That's the danger of
Looks like you need to go this way.
Of course, not using enough cleaner's tape to
And definitely up.
mask, but to be expected. I want to give the appearance
That's the
of
problem. Well, the water
these
makes the
motion
photo etch
machines
stick to
as
the bottom.
something that had been
Alright, so we definitely need to go
not
up.
fresh, they've been used
Up,
before.
everybody up. There we go.
So if
I
I
wonder if it
have
almost
to go
helps
back
put water in the
and
back here because it can seep
thread
into the
silver
holes.
back over some spots, then we can do that. That's the effect I was looking for on these legs. Just to help
So far, I
delineate
think we're doing pretty good that way.
the segments.
I think this one is going to be a nice, easy winner.
A little bit more.
We can start stretching the bubbles out.
Yeah, I can see where I got some overspray. When you're spraying these guys,
Yeah,
you're
this
gonna
one
get
worked
some
really
overspray
nice.
on the back legs.
And if they don't work this
backside of
nice,
what you're spraying.
it'd be great.
So I'm just going to take a little bit of where the paint
What you got
overspray.
there? Actually, put a little bit of this on now.
I'm gonna-
Sometimes I wait a little bit, but this actually helps it. Like I said, at least it seems like it helps it actually dry.
Then we'll be ready to pop the head on here. Now, see, that's where I painted that, just around
Like
the
the
edge.
solvent helps push the water out of it. You know, mixes in with the water and then helps it evaporate better.
Cleaned up.
Becomes more like a water solvent mixer instead of just water.
Yeah, I can lay that all the way in there now. And any place
And
where
it helps
this
stuff
didn't
stick,
quite
like all those
match
little
the black
skinny
thing, I
bars
took care of that.
right
So
there.
my only question now, my burning question
They're gonna
is how
stick
to,
down faster
how to get the clear
and be less
display.
fragile as far
I
as
think I'm just gonna have to run a really small
wanting to move on their own.
micro crystal clear in there.
It'll still be
Kind of
fragile,
in place.
as all decals are, but
Paint some details on this barrel, and that's about the last
yeah, I
thing
think
we
it
have
almost
to
feels
do.
like it helps with
Alrighty,
the
here we
moisture.
put that,
Because maybe it's helping the decal shrinking and that's pushing the moisture out of it. I don't know. I
I
don't know
think this
the
gives a
physics
much
of it, but it
finished
just works.
appearance. Obviously, spraying it with paint makes
Beautiful.
it less like a googly eye. But I think
Set
that,
you over here and let you
that's
dry
exactly what I'd like it to do.
with your
So,
friends.
I just keep it-
Okay, here we are. A little update. I got these all cleared, decaled and cleared. The first time I put some clear down, I was using a semi-gloss, and I think it must have it must have been clogged because it threw down a heavy, clumpy coat that wouldn't settle. So I ended up having to sand them. So I ended up having to sand them all down smooth without burning through to the decal, which was easy because it was so heavy. The way it was throwing that paint, the clear down. So as soon as I noticed it, I should have stopped. But live and learn. But got those all sanded, resprayed. I did a matte, and then I lightly glazed over with a gloss to create my own semi-gloss. That gives me a little bit better, a little bit more of a sheen than the just plain matte. So when those sit up to each other, that gives you a little bit of a sheen difference, contrast. Since most of everything is black in the pod, except for the ceiling and the back wallish, because it kind of goes down. I think that's all red. Yeah, I mean, all these panels are black. That's black, and you got a gray floor. So the only red, the other color you have is this red, which comes down low in the front. And then you have the back door. So, and I think that I'm going to do in a matte. I don't think I'm going to do flat. I think I'm going to do that in a matte. Keep the floor the flat part. This panel, I got one panel done. As far as labeled buttons on these, it's going to be too hard to see on the camera, but all the labels are on there, and I hit it with a matte because I'm doing the buttons in a matte. I wasn't sure what I was going to do, if I was going to do a gloss, but I was watching clips in the movie, and the buttons were actually a lesser sheen than the actual panels they were sitting in. So I went with a matte, and hopefully, where is your? This is its grill. Let's see if we get the effect that we're hoping for. Pretty much. But at least they're not shiny. Like right now, I have a gloss on them for the decals. And them being shiny, they look too candy-like. Now they look like plastic buttons. And they do have a little less sheen than the panels. And that's about right. And that still has to cure a little bit longer too. Really shouldn't be messing with that. And then we got the main body of the console looking good. Labels are all on, so I can actually start gluing these panels down. Yeah, that's this cures. Yeah, it's still breathing. But what I did is, since now the buttons are the same, it's the same matte as this here, I could just, it's awesome, I could just spray the whole thing of matte. I had a scratch there, so that touched up the scratch. It was just a light scratch in the clear. I am done with all the buttons on all the panels. All the button decals are on there. And then I went and hit the whole panel with a matte clear. Decals are all on here. Those were fun. And I did this in a semi-gloss. Really, I sprayed because I was having an issue and I had to sand all these panels. So that took more time because it came on the semi-gloss I had was sprayed a big clumpy mess and it never leveled out, so I had to sand the panels. And then what I did is I sprayed it with a matte and then sprayed a gloss, light mist of gloss over top, and it gave me a nice semi-gloss panel. The rest of the console is a matte, so that'll give me, but them being black, it gives me at least some sheen contrast. And in the buttons, I went with a matte. Watching the clips of the movie, the buttons were very dull and matte colored, by plastic, and it goes good with the semi-gloss panels. So, but yeah, all the buttons are in. That was fun. It wasn't bad doing like ones like this, where it's like an L. Those were one strip, and the doubles weren't bad. It was the singles that were really bad. The triples and the fours were great. And you had runs like this panel was bad because everything was like twos, and there was a three. So that one went quick. And then I found a rhythm of what to do, because knowing what's up and down, especially when you can't see these white ones. So that was fun. So they are all done. The rest of them over there. But these here are special because they have these panels here, which we cut open. So when this goes on there, it's completely open back there. Because what we're doing is we're going to put these meter decals or meter just, you know, graphics on this backlit paper. We're going to put those in there. And I was going to go fancy, but I think I'm just going to go simple. There's 4. There's 3, so I think I'm just going to simply do those 3. And see if they actually line up if you just cut them out as 3. And the same thing with this. I was thinking about maybe put one of these just red ones without the whatever meter, the gauges on it or whatever, but I don't know if I want to deal with that much cutting and making sure they overlap. And I think what you can do is just cut them out as a whole and they line right up. Yeah, see, they do. Or I could do this. I could take those 3 and then I get one that's like that. And I can do that. I'd rather have that one though. Let's see with this. And I can do something weird with this with like grabbing 4 of those and then those 2 are like that. Or I can do this. Let's see. So if we're gonna do these 3 here, I wish that one was over there, but that's okay. I mean, I can. So you gotta leave room for the button there. But I can pretty much cut right up to that edge. That one and right up to the edge of this one, and that should give me the what I want. I'd like to keep that Paragraphics logo. Stick that on something. Anyway, that opens this all up too now. And so we want, eventually we're going to have to cut all these out, so that's what I really should do. Because we're going to have to get to the big ones anyway. But in the middle, we're going to try to cut up the middle. Give each one of them a good remove that because you've got to be careful. You don't want to scratch the surface of the decal. You can trim excess off. Doing those 3 right there. So this one we're gonna go right because we're not using you ever, so goodbye. And you can do the same with this one. There's our 3. And they look properly spaced. Throw these in the bag. You never know if you need them. Something. Might work in some other photo-etch kit or you need a red filament. There you go. So you always keep everything. kit batch. So, and I guess depending on how I want the gauges to go, I could put that one that way or that way. But I'm going to say that they had this as the top, so I'm going to keep that as the top. Look like that. Now, decided 100% what I want to glue them down with. I don't know if super glue will work. They say to use like a Windows cement, I believe. Double-sided tape if you're going to use the clear inserts, like for the big monitors. And then use microcrystal clear from microscale or Tester's clear parts. Try and make sure I didn't do any putty with this. Especially when it comes to that red spot putty. There we go. I don't want to keep throwing these. So up here it is. So from what it looks like on there, the little part of the gauge goes there. And the fun thing is going to be to keep this aligned and glue it from the back side at the same time. Right now I see we have the notch. Looks like if we just go right on that, we're good. Yep. Looks like there's a little bit here we can notch out. That's where this button comes through. So we'll notch that out a little bit. Just a little, and we'll see how it. It's probably doing this. It's going to drop in like that, and we'll backlight it, and hopefully there'll be no plastic in the way. And there shouldn't be because there's no plastic in the way when the grill's on it. So now it's perfect. If I can tack it with super glue. Tack it with super glue and then do the rest of Windows cement. Because I know the super glue ain't going to hold it. And I think you're so low, you're probably not going to work, but we'll try. Probably should do some super glue. Where's that toothpick? Probably buried it. I'm going to put this down. It is MIA. Let's see if I got another one. There it is. So we're going to put a little super glue in here. Be a smart way to do it. So as long as we get something to hold it. And I can tack these corners in. Oh, it's gonna look nice. I like it. Then what we'll do, this is when they say, oh, just keep cutting until you get some through. Just make a mark where the hole's gonna open. There we go. Alright, now I'll take this. Run it on the rest of the edge. Make sure none leaks through, but if it does, you want to kind of make sure you get a little bit up on the back of it, but try not to get into the spot that the light's got to go through. That works for me. That's that one. We got another one. So, and we decided we're going to go with these three here. Oh, that's what we're going to do. Close to that one. And then we're going to come down and cut close to that side. Close, no. We'll use those for something. Alright. Oh, nice, and I left a good white border in case for some reason I ever want to use that Pod Bay Temp Ambient. But I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5 of those. That's nice, and it gives you enough. Alright, so we can get rid of this. Let's make this a little straighter. Let's see how that fits, because I may not need to, the nice thing why I wanted to get ones in groups is because now I have all this to stiffen this paper up, you know? So then these will go like that. Yeah, and they're spaced already perfectly. So I don't have to worry about spacing of each one. That'll look cool. That way we have the ones with the grids, and then we just have the pure red ones to give some difference. Yeah, and that's funny because both. Well, no, that will be that one. So yeah. Yeah, that backlit paper works good. So, yeah, so now we got that one in. So we just gotta do the same thing with this. So then that's gonna sit like this. Now that one was nice because I could just back this paper right up on that edge and it just happened to line up. Here we might have to do something a little fancier. Do I have to get more super glue down, or I have enough to tack it? I think I have enough to tack it. So let's get this lined up. Yeah, that works for me. Sometimes I get two areas so it doesn't want to shift. Getting so low on this kicker, I have to find the direction it wants to spray. I think we used it. I got another bottle, but I need to get a small bottle of the aerosol because that's good when you need it, like this. That's super glue setup. But it usually lasts more than you need. That's why I like the pumps. But the pumps, once they start running out, they're just a pain in the butt. I was wondering if I should keep that for something. I think it's tacked itself. I can put some window cement across here. But with the super glue tacked in the corners, and the window cement hitting the edges, I think will be just fine. That'll look cool. Yeah, and they'll shine nice. So, there we go. I'll let those cure. So, yep, I just wanted to show you that. Like I said, the monitors I'm going to put on the backs. Like say this was a monitor hole. I'm attaching right to the back of the plastic. Because I want them to look like they're setting in from the panel. Instead of up flush, like these are like pretty much like up flush almost. I mean they set in, but you know, so you'll see that they're set. They're not exactly flush, but they're closer. Where I think the monitor should either stick out or set back, especially the two up front. They have that border that kind of gives it the outreach. But the ones on the sides, I didn't want them to look like that, where they're just kind of only set in the thickness of the photo etch. I wanted it to be the thickness of the plastic, kind of a little TV screen, and so it looks like the monitors are sunk in, because that's what I'm going to be stuck with once you stick it in the ship. I definitely know I'm going to like that, and I think like that. I don't know if maybe I put like, I was thinking maybe that and something else like that, or maybe that to bring in a blue, but I'm going to have a blue, I'm going to have that maroonish red, and I have that purplish kind of color. These two are black. So that's what we're gonna go with. I think that's the ones I like the most out of that. Yeah. Although I don't mind that manual design, it kind of gives you like a computer readout kind of thing. Same thing with that. That's kind of neat. And I'm still not sure if we're going to do flickering lights behind the. I don't know if I keep this bottle or not. I don't know what I'd ever use it for. Only time I ever need to spray anything, water. For decals, big decals. Yeah, maybe I'll keep it for that and clean it. See if I can get it to use for water. So we'll keep it. And make a nice little water decal, but if I can get it all the solvent out of it. Okie doke, so that's where we're at. What am I going to do here next? Yeah, I gotta let these dry. Oh, we can start putting these down. So that's the next step, is to actually get these photo etches glued down. So, but I'm not gonna bore you with that. It's just pretty much putting them on top, gluing them with some super glue, and that's about it. So, but next time when we come back, we will start making light boxes. I think that's the next thing. I might glue some parts together, like. This part goes to take this off. Like these two parts go together. So I might actually glue these parts together. Run a little black in this seam here. And then we'll put the photo etch down. So I should still be able to put the photo etch down when those are glued, but I'd rather be able to glue this and not make them. Well, yeah, I wonder if that would be easier to glue these down. There's another thing. Should I glue these down first and then do that? I think I should just make sure that they'll go down nice. Like there's no sticking. I think this one goes down pretty good. Not having any, like, having to really press. It's going over the buttons pretty good. Oh yeah, you're working pretty good. So yeah, I think I'm going to glue these two pieces together first. Like I said, yeah, I'm going to glue the monitors back here. And then I have that nice window edge, which I painted, pre-painted. And those sills are going together good. Beautiful. So yeah. There's the other panels, I can probably glue everything on first and then glue them. But I definitely want to do these edges just in case there's a little, and you can see in there, it's black. And you are this. I need you to dry a little more. And that's the other thing. It's also going to be squished in with that to help it hold it too. So, well, hello and welcome back to another update. Yeah, just continuing on gluing these photo etch pieces onto here. This isn't all glued together. This is just sitting on there. And I did glue these parts together, and then I put the photo etch on after I glued them together, and that's both sides. That way it's one whole piece. You gotta give it a little stretch and a little turn to get them to fall down in. It's much easier as one whole piece. I also went around the edges with some black just to make sure that when these pieces fit together, nothing like the plastic back here, since it's white, it'll all want to glow and try to sneak around. So I even did it in the seam in there and all on these edges. Before I glued these pieces down, I did all this edge just to make sure nothing leaks up through. But yeah, that's looking really good. Those gauges there, those look really good. There's the ones on this side. Those are going to look really good. So, let's stick this back in here. It's kind of, you got to push a little in, and then it's getting that one up top. Which I got to hit with a little black, because just in case it wants to stick out. That seam doesn't go completely tight. That one seems like it will. So we're just continuing on with that. But I was just sticking these up there to. This one goes over here. I was just sticking these on there just to get a look at it. It's looking good. I'm very happy with it. So let's get these last two pieces. I always do a dry fit, make sure the photo etch is fitting over all this painting here and the painting on the photo etch. You want to be very lenient with your glue here. I mean, you need enough, but you want to spread it out, because if it wants to squirt out between the buttons, or out the edges, super glue is a mess. You're better off putting a little bit and using a toothpick or something to spread it, so you don't get that initial blob that wants to ooze just anywhere. It can find a way to go. You take a toothpick and just kind of smear it around, which then it gives you the better coverage. Think of it like wood glue. Hardest thing is there's nothing along that edge to glue this to, and don't even try. That's what I'm saying. It'll slide down around the buttons and hold itself tight. As best it can. Or you could always come back. That's what I'm trying to do right now, is make sure it's getting down around the buttons. Yeah, and it wants to have a little bit of a gap there, but I think once these lock in there, I'm hoping. It is being kind of stubborn on this end. Might have to, there we go. That still had to push down there. that's the side that one goes on. Or is it this side? I don't know how you tell. I'm going to say it's probably this side. Fits a little better there. Yeah. I'm going to have to paint this edge. I'm going to paint that edge a little better too. Yeah, so I guess that's going to work. Definitely want to paint that top edge there. My only concern is where it's raising up right here. Can I get a little bit of super glue in there without making a mess? And with a string hanging off it. That's just going to have to do it. You really don't have much of a choice there. So all you're going to do is booger up that edge. I boogered it up a little bit, but you won't be able to see it once it kind of flexes itself. There you go. Pretty tight along there. Let's go with the next one before all this super glue dries. Anyway, I can just dip an edge. Ooh, that's too much. We're a little full. See if that works. The worst thing you gotta watch is if it sneaks up through one of these little buttonholes and hits your finger, and then you go to press somewhere else to get it to press down, you get a sticky stuff. it will help you push stuff down right there. Meanwhile, you're keeping a good pressure, compression over there. And I see this on the inside. There. I think we're pretty good. That will be that one. I believe this one goes on this side. Yeah, and I can definitely see we need to push on this side. Unless this is made for this one, I'm not sure. Side too, but I don't like how it's sitting a little weird there, and I think these clip off points. Should be able to tell by the number if these are 14, 15, 9. And say this is 16, this probably goes on this side. I'll find out more. This is 10, 13, 11, 10, 11, 13. I'm going to say that 12 would probably be this side. There's nothing really to hold them. We could check the book. If it's right side up. We got 16 going with, okay, so yeah, so 16 goes on this side, you go on this side. So now looking at that, yep, we're going to have to clean up some stuff. Paint that seam up and it'll go away. And I already knew I was going to have to do this. This one fits a little tighter. We'll clean up this hole. So what we'll do is we'll paint this, just this edge, not the back. Here, take stuff up. You got this back piece here. You can see it has this little, that piece. That's what we'll use for our plastic to plastic bond. And right here is this little channel of the thickness of the wall. We'll clean all that up. That way, if you look down, you won't see anything. Kind of like I folded the paint over on this side too. And then I want to hit some paint on those tips. So there we go. We're in pretty good shape. Those are glued. So that's where we're at. That's how you glue these down. Just super glue and very careful. I already had super glue squirt out on this one here. It came out of this little hole, didn't realize that has pressure, and put a print on here, and I think over here too. All in all, that looks good. The dials, those little gauges, they're light up. Amazing. They are lighting up amazing. So yeah, now it's time to, once I light block and clean up these seams here, it's time to start building light boxes. And that's why I wanted to get this together. I'm going to try to do flickering LEDs in here for the screens. We'll see. So I might build a separate little box there. Then we got to figure out what's all up here, just these two. So I might just do a small SMD. And then we can put a LED strip here. And maybe this way, and then maybe this way. See. we'll do one like that. We'll just put a whole bunch in here because this is all just, it'll be all one light box. And then I'll have to see how deep does that go down in. I'll have to draw a line so I know where to stop my light box. So I'll have to go in here and mark in here so I know, because I'm just going to do my light box right in here and just do one. I was thinking one big one, but I might want to build little walls. I could probably build one big wall and still build little walls to isolate the monitors. That might be the easiest way, instead of building a little box and then another box that's kind of unless I build this box, tack it down, and then build this next box and just do the outside of it. And then put a cover over the whole thing and then drill holes for the LEDs. We'll see. I still haven't 100% decided if I'm going to do the flickering. But it'd be nice to have these monitors flicker a little bit. Like, you know, they were actually film projected. There was actual 5 minutes of film projected on the back of those screens because they didn't have computer monitors in. So that's how they did that. And you could see a flicker in them. And it's more the movie flicker. It's not like when you videotape a video screen. You get that, the scanning flicker. So, yeah, it's Lightbox World. So, and it may be prepping these photo etch parts for in here for these two spots in the ceiling. So, alright. I just wanted to show you an update where we're at, how these were gluing down. They seem to be pretty good. Could be better. But once it's all together, it's looking good. Doesn't have to be a perfectly clean. But yeah, I'm liking it. Can't wait to get it lit up. That decal way down the bottom, I'm glad I did that. That looks good. And we can start putting the controls up here and the controls on here. So I want to get these walls built that go back here. These two, which is just a simple black. And then we'll do it with satin or a matte like that. But then we'll do the panels and the semi-gloss. And even though really it's getting to the point where I can't even tell between the matte. So almost, yeah, well I can't because I'll make those transparent. But I can almost just do a spray right over them with the matte. But, and now I want to do the red lights, what was it, 3 of them? Yeah, lighted panel, lighted panel, lighted panel. Those 3 and then the 2 down here. I want to do those on separate switches. I wonder if I have them flash too. That would be kind of cool. Or make these flash and then these just on. But I never saw that anything like that happen in the movie. And to see if we have all these lit. I don't know. I'm going to be like Lou, and I don't think I'm going to light those bolts. I don't think there's possible unless you do. I mean, the only way to do that would be to leave it unpainted where the decal is going to go. And that'd be tough. I'd have to measure the decal and come up with a little... I don't know if I have some anything from Lou's Aztec masks that I have left over. If he has anything of dots that we can place down. that would be the same size, or even a hair smaller would be good. But I don't think the LED I could get back in here would really get enough intensity to light that up. I don't know. I definitely want to do the caution light, and then maybe those two little lights up there. But that's going to be a whole lining up the decal and then paint blocking where that is. Hit it with a couple coats of black. I probably want to spray the insides everywhere but where that is and those are. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not going to worry about trying to light those bolts. That's just going to be too much. And then, but leave a big square kind of in those areas. And then on this side, refine it really well with the with masking tape. And paint this side black too. But we got to refine that, and then definitely, I don't know if the black and the decal will be strong enough to block the light there. It might be. I could always set the decal there and just paint that to help. So we'll see. But that's where I'm at. I'll come back and we'll work on light boxes. Fun with light boxes. So until then, see you soon.